So this afternoon I'm planting out 4 varieties of ginger in this wicking bed behind me here and popping 3 up in the aquaponics, so I thought I'd bring you along for a bit of a look. G'day folks, it's Rob here. Thought I'd just do a quick run through of the gingers I'm planting out today, the 4 of them, and then I'll cover them in a little bit more detail as I'm planting them out. This first one here is a Kencur. It's got one little green shoot and a little white one down there that you can't quite see. It's used a lot in Indonesian cooking and Malay. This one here is a Cambodian ginger that a visitor dropped off. Thank you very much. I'm unsure of its actual Latin name or botanical name, but the growth pattern is a little bit different to normal ginger. Down here we have finger root, or otherwise known as Chinese keys or Karachi ginger, used a fair bit in Thai cooking, and if you hop on over to our Life in Thailand's channel, you'll see Paul use it a bit over there. He's got quite a few nice clumps growing in his patch at the moment. And just down the front here we have the normal ginger. This here is just common everyday ginger. A couple of pieces I saved from last year's harvest. This bit here is a little bit squishy now, so we won't be planting it out. This one here though, nice and firm, and it has a couple of growth shoots on it, so it'll be going into this wicking bed along with a couple of roots that I've started off in root pouches. Basically I didn't get around to setting up the bed in time, so I've already started some off elsewhere. Actually, we'll go over now and grab them. So just over here in this little wicking root pouch garden, I've got a couple of ginger started off already. I've got a couple in this larger pouch, and I started off 4 single pieces in these smaller 12-litre pouches a while back, or 3-gallon ones. Now I've only had 2 that have sprouted. These guys have been very slow out of the gate this season. I was hoping to get fairly decent sized seedlings to plant out into the wicking bed, but it just hasn't eventuated. So today what I'm going to be doing is planting out this one here and the one next to it that has a small little green shoot you might be able to make out down there. So they'll be going into the wicking bed, and I'll be leaving the pieces in this root pouch just to see how they go. I'd say they'll do fairly well down here with the little capsicums we have on the go, or sweet peppers. So I'll just grab these pouches and we'll take them over to the wicking bed. So this is the wicking bed the gingers are going into. If you wanted to see how this bed was actually put together, you can suss out that little link up there. Now as for layout, up the back here, I'm going to be putting in the Kencur ginger. I'm actually going to be lifting the root out of this root pouch, and I'll be dividing it in 2 and then popping in 2 sections. In the center, the normal ginger, the 2 real root pouch pieces on either end, and the little root section in the center. Down in this corner here, I'll just be popping out 1 section of the Cambodian ginger, and what I'm going to be doing is potting these up at a later date into a larger root pouch and popping them somewhere else in the patch. And just over here I'll be putting out 2 sections of the Karachi ginger, or the finger root. I'll be digging that clump up basically and dividing it in 2 and popping it down here. So what I thought I'll do is we'll start up over the back here, we'll pop out the Kencur, and then we'll move our way forward. So the Kencur ginger is a very low growing little plant. It has broad little leaves that come out in a bit of a funnel, and it has a very beautiful little white and purple orchid-like flower. It blooms pretty much all constantly through the season for us here. Now with this one here, it's not going to be too hard to remove, I don't think. It should come out in a fairly decent clump. Might help if you get organised to move some of this mulch back first, Robert. So I just pushed all the mulch back out of the way, and I'm going to dig a couple of small holes here. I won't be adding anything special to this soil, mainly because the bed was only made a little while ago. So there we go. It's got a couple of nice little roots on there that should take off quickly. Little weed we don't want, but you can see a nice little green spiral leafy growth. There's a couple of more shoots just coming out there, and on this side there's another one here. So I'm just going to tease away some of this soil. I can see there's actually a natural break there, so we might just try and tease this clump off. There we go. You can see, yeah, this clump has been left in the ground for 2 or 3 years now, and we've only got one little small shoot off that rhizome. That rhizome there feels fairly firm, so I'll pop it out by itself here, and I'm just going to bury it slightly below the soil level here, just over like that. And we might move this clump over a little bit, and we'll just pop her in straight like that as well. It's just burying it maybe just a little bit lower than the surface, and that's it. That's those 2 planted out. Now just going to move this mulch forward, and we'll pop out the normal ginger in the center here. Now I'm not expecting these guys to have grown very much in this pouch, because they haven't been in here very long, so Just going to sort of lift them from below. We've got this beautiful little bit coming out. It's got some very healthy little roots on it already. And there's a bit of the mother ginger just down the base there. So that one there, pretty much all just going in at soil level. Pop her in. That's piece number one. So when it comes to planting out all these ginger varieties, I think it's a good idea to probably space them around about 30 centimeters or a foot apart. As for climate, you will find most of these edible gingers are a tropical plant, so they do like zone 9 or above, or subtropical or warm temperate and above. And I still find here where we are in zone 10B or subtropics that our plants do die back every season, all the greenery, and then their rhizomes reshoot every spring. Now the only exception to that is galangal, but I'll give you a bit of a look at our galangal just before we finish off the clip. And now the normal little bit of ginger rhizome. So this one here, very easy, just pop them in the middle, maybe a little bit more towards the back, and got a couple of growth points. Just going to lay them down like that, probably about 40 mil or 1.5 inches below the surface, and backfill, and that's pretty much all it. So these gingers in the center, I'm going to cover up fairly deeply with mulch, mainly because these little growth points, they're fairly spear-like and they will push up through the mulch fairly well. So we'll cover them up. These little gingers at the back though, I will come back and remove some of the mulch off the top of them after we're done here. Now the gingers for the front. So what I'm going to do now is just cut off a nice healthy looking section of this ginger. I think the piece I might take is just over here. It's pushing up against the side of the root pouch. We might come in maybe to this piece here. Just cutting across there. Oh, that smells awesome. So it actually smells a little bit sweeter than normal ginger. So I'm just going to get my hand underneath this one, pull the rhizome up. Oh, there we go. As you can see, some very pretty young pink shoots there. These rhizomes are a little bit smaller than the other ginger we've grown, so I'm not too sure whether that's because I've had it in the same soil for a fair while and hasn't been looked after too well, or whether it's the variety. So it'll be interesting come end of summer just to see what this turns out like. So this one here is going straight into a hole over on this side. Oh, we might put the new growth towards the center. There we go, pretty much all it. So now I'm going to pull out the finger root from that pouch there and we'll pop it down the front of the bed. So I've just dug out a small little section of the finger root, otherwise known as karachi, and just hosed it off to give you a better look at the little fingers. So these are little sections of root that are actually taken off and used in cooking. And there is a rhizome up the top that you may be able to make out. This little section here, this is what the plant actually grows from. It is edible as well, as are the little stems here and the young bits of greenery as well, but it's mainly grown just for these little root sections as I understand it. And so this isn't something we've used a lot of. I've pulled off a couple of these fingers when I transplanted some last year and I threw it into a meal and I really didn't get much of a distinct flavour coming through. I think I may have drowned it out. So this year we definitely will be growing a lot more so we can have a crack at it in a few different recipes. The root section itself is used in warm meals, it's used in soups, it's used in salad. Apparently you can also pickle it as well, so that might be something we look into. As for how tall it grows, roughly around about 60 centimeters or 2 foot, and they also do throw a very attractive little flower as well. This plant here from the barrel throws a number of flowers every season. So this little section here won't be going into this wicking bed. I'll pop it in a wicking root pouch garden at the back stairs just to see how it goes in that environment, because it gets a little bit more sun up there. You know, like to experiment and see how things go. So this one, I think I need a slightly bigger fork. Well, actually, that came out rather easily. So there you go, that's a nice looking section. So I think I'm going to get 2 decent sections out of this one, so we'll chop him roughly down the middle. That was pretty easy. And this smaller section can go over here, and this section here can go in the center. So we'll just pop it out now. And this one here, same deal. Going to pop the cut section towards the side of the bed. And there we go. We got the wicking bed planted out. So I'll just come back around with the mulch now. And I'm just going to remove the majority of the mulch from around the Kencur ginger once I can find it. There we go. Just going to pop a little bit over the top and that's pretty much all it. And we're done. So now we'll head up to the aquaponics and I'll show you how I planted out the ginger there. So ginger grows really well in the aquaponics, and as you can see, we've already got a turmeric that's popped up as a volunteer. So what I've decided to do is build 3 dedicated beds just for ginger. Now what they are basically a flood and drain bed regulated by a siphon just in the end one, and they're all connected by some plumbing underneath. So what I've already done is planted out some ginger in these guys there. I'll give you a bit of a look at how they went in, just in case you're curious. And in this end one over here, I'll be planting out some of the finger root and also the Kencur ginger. So we'll go and have a bit of a look at how I planted out these two and the ginger I used. So into this blue barrel, I'm popping in some ginger that we saw in the supermarket. It had already started to shoot, so I thought I'd snap it up and would try it out just to see how it goes versus the roots that we'd saved ourselves. So to plant them out, it's pretty basic. With this clay, all I'm doing is digging a little trench. I'm popping this one here, so that little green tip is probably about 20 mil or 3/4 of an inch below the surface here. So I'll just push him down a little bit and backfill him. That's all that one needs, and the base of that root will be sitting nicely in the water. So the same here with this one. Scoop it out, and that little top node we'll probably put about the same, 20 mil underneath the surface, and backfill him over. Now we'll move on to the next barrel with the ginger we saved from last year's crop. With our ginger this season, I thought what I'd do is try and plant some nice large chunky bits of ginger out, just to see if the energy stores in here just helps them grow a little bit better in the aquaponics. So same deal, going to bury this one. Well, you can see the water level coming up there. So pop him around about there, backfill over the top, and the same on the other side, around about that deep. And it's pretty much all as easy as that. So in this end barrel of the aquaponic system, I'm planting out some Kencur ginger. This is the small one that grows nice and flush to the ground. That'll be going up the back where it'll receive a little bit more shelter from the sun. And down the front here, I'll be planting the finger root or the Karachi ginger. So there's no real delicate way to do this, I don't think. Basically just going to dig it down. That helps that the bed's nice and full with water at the moment. I'm just going to backfill around it like that. And that's all we need to worry about with these guys. Just up the back here, the same deal. Dig down a little bit and backfill around it. So it will be interesting to see how the fingers grow on this ginger in particular, just how they go down through the clay. So it's a bit of an experiment. We'll just see how we go. So the one ginger we have that grows 12 months a year here is Galangal, also known as Thai ginger, and it's got a few other commonly known names in different regions. This one here has actually gone to flower. It's putting out quite a few flower spikes this season, so it must be pretty happy in the bed that it's in. Now this one here, I use the same as normal ginger. I use it in stir fries, love it in curries and also Asian style soups. If you've ever eaten Thai food and you sniff galangal, you'll know the flavour straight away. It's just that distinctive. Now this one here, as I said, hasn't died back at all, and this season it started to put through some beautiful growth. I did give it an extra bit of there's a turtle, hello turtle. I did pop some compost down on top of this during winter, so I think that pretty much will fet it up ready for the spring. And I also give it a little bit of a liquid feed a couple of times through the season as well. And that there is a bit of a look at the rhizome itself. It's a lot more fibrous than normal ginger, so you do need to really work it either in the mortar and pestle or through the food processor. You can probably make out some of the fibres there, and definitely worth the effort growing, I think. So yeah, number one ginger for me would have to be this one, Galangal. So I'm really happy with the way these gingers went into the bed. I was hoping to squeeze in another little clump of the Cambodian ginger, but yeah, there's just not enough room. They'll do well enough in a larger root pouch, I think, by themselves. So those gingers up in the aquaponics, the normal ginger and the Kencur, I'm fairly sure they'll do fine up in there, mainly because they grow towards the surface. The finger root though, yeah, we might have a few problems with it trying to push down through the clay, so we'll just have to wait until harvest time to see how it went. If you want to come along and see that clip once it's posted, or any of the others I post between now and then, all you have to do is click on that little subscribe button down there in the corner and check the little notification bell box that pops up, and you'll be sent an email whenever I upload a clip on our small little backyard farm or aquaponics to YouTube. You can come along and say good day in the comment sections down below if you feel like it. I do hope that you have enjoyed the clip and that your gardens are booming, and I will catch you next time. Cheers, folks.